fabulous day everyone, particularly to Doc Jing or Bistondo. My name is Alona Jean Incalob and I am going to report about the definition of terms. So what is definition of terms? Definition of terms is an alphabetical list of important terms or acronyms that you define, particularly ambiguous terms or those used in a special way. We can infer that term and definition is very important, because we all know that a term is a word or a phrase used to describe a thing or to express a concept, while definition states the meaning of a word using other words. This is sometimes challenging because there are various types of definition, all with different purposes and focuses. So what is the purpose of definition of terms in research? Definition of terms is usually an annex or an addition to a work, like in a book, research paper, pamphlet, and etc. Either at the beginning or more likely near the end, with a list of acronyms, jargon, credits, and many more. This is an important part of research paper or report that in which the key or important terms in the study are clearly defined. Defining important terms is essential to ensure a common understanding of key concepts, and terminology is shared between the dissertation author and his or her audience, particularly if the term is unusual or not widely known. It is important to include definition of terms in your thesis or dissertation in order to understand the key terms being used in the study. These terms should be clearly defined according to how they are used in the study in order to make easy understanding of the problem and avoid ambiguous meaning of terms which can be otherwise interpreted in different ways. So what do we put in the definition of terms in research? These terms include particular theoretical constructs, formulas, operational definitions that differ from colloquial definitions, schools of thought, and discipline-specific acronyms. Thesis proposal likely include terms that are not widely known outside of your discipline. So it is important to include definition of terms to the readers or your fellow researchers to understand the terms used in your study. This part of your proposal offers the reader a list of definitions of these terms. How you define such terms could considerably affect how the reader understands your thesis. Be sure you use these terms in a consistent fashion throughout your proposal and thesis. There are two types of definition of terms: the theoretical or conceptual definitions and operational definitions. Theoretical or conceptual definition is the universal meaning that is attributed to a word or group of words and which is understood by many people. It is abstract and most general in nature. The usual source of conceptual definition is the dictionary, which is the reference book of everyday language. Operational definition is the meaning of the concept or term as used in a particular study. Unlike the conceptual definition, it is stated in concrete terms in that it allows measurement. Operational definitions transform theoretical definitions into observable events. This is because an operational definition states which characteristics will be measured in the assignment of a value to the concept or construct under study. Operational definitions form the basis for the research questions, hypotheses, and the theories associated with the research. The usual practice when using both types of definition is to state first the conceptual, followed by the operational. So here are the functions of definition of terms. It establishes the rules and procedures the investigators will use to measure variables. It also provides an ambiguous meaning to terms that otherwise can be interpreted in different ways. So I have here an example of the conceptual definition. So alternator. Alternator is an electric generator that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy in the form of alternating current. Power cable is an assembly of one or more electrical conductors, usually held together with an overall sheath. The assembly is used for transmission of electrical power. And here is the example of the operational definition. So alternator is a device used in converting mechanical energy into electrical energy. Power cable is a bundle of electrical conductors or wires to transport electrical power. As you notice, they are defined differently. We need to bear in mind that conceptual or theoretical definitions is the dictionary meaning of the word, while the operational definition is the use or the operational meaning of the term or the word. So here are the do's and don'ts in writing the definition of terms. A definition must set out the essential attributes of the thing defined. Be sure you use these terms in a consistent fashion throughout your proposal and thesis. Definitions should avoid circularity. When defining words, do it straight to the point. The definition must not be too wide or too narrow. It must be applicable to everything to which the defined term applies. Definitions of specific concepts and terminology should be grounded whenever possible by peer-reviewed sources that support the definition. This helps a great deal to rationalize terminology and understanding, and connects your language to common usage of terminology within the field. The definition must not be obscure. The purpose of a definition is to explain the meaning of a term which may be obscure or difficult, by the use of terms that are commonly understood and whose meaning is clear. A definition should not be negative where it can be positive. For example, we should not define wisdom as the absence of folly, or a healthy thing as whatever is not sick. Sometimes this is unavoidable. However, for example, it appears difficult to define blindness in positive terms rather than as the absence of sight in a creature that is normally sighted. Terms defined should be arranged in alphabetical order, and acronyms should always spell out fully. Most specifically, it is used for the first time and not commonly known. Make sure to define, though common may have special meaning or used differently. Complicated and lengthy definition should be included in your appendix. And here are examples of definition of terms. An important reminder that when writing a definition of terms, do it in a paragraph form. Here are the references. If you want further reading about the definition of terms, feel free to visit the site. And that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day and God bless.